Key elements of the fire service. The fire service is built around a number of key elements for establishing and maintaining a fire service. These include governance, personnel, training, equipment, apparatus, infrastructure, maintenance, and procedures. Community fire protection planning helps community governments identify their community's needs, assess local capacity, determine appropriate service levels, and develop a strategy to maximize community resources.
It's important to understand your community's fire protection needs in that you have to know what level of service you are required to provide and then work towards meeting that goal. For example, a community that is basically at the fire prevention delivery level, they're going to have to make sure that they address for example, smoke alarm programs and making sure that there's smoke alarms in every community, in every residence. Make sure that there's enough pamphlets, and it doesn't mean that you don't require firefighters. They just take on a different shape. In that they're not out fighting fires, they're out promoting education, fire safety education in the community, and you know what? That's a very important start to any program, no matter what level of fire protection strategy or where you sit on that scale.
MACA's Community Fire Protection Matrix helps guide decision-making by providing a general overview of the key elements of the fire service and how they fit into the levels of service available to communities. These service levels are progressively more advanced and require additional safety procedures, training, and resources in order to adequately sustain and support the response activities associated with each level. Governance and administration are critical pieces of any fire service, whether volunteer-based or a full-time department. Here are some things to consider. A bylaw must be passed by council in order to establish a fire service. It sets out the expectations and requirements of the fire service.
In order for a community to operate a fire service safely, a few elements are necessary. For one, you need a bylaw which provides your fire department with the authority needed to function. Communities need to assess what fire risks they may be exposed to, and from that work, they can identify a level of service to focus on the necessary requirements, such as equipment and maintenance, development of procedures, what training is necessary for personnel, and what kind of budget is needed to support those activities.
Standard operating procedures provide fire officers and members with a consistent approach to emergency response. They are mandatory for the safety of responders and residents. Budget planning is important to ensure there is sufficient ongoing financial support and resources for the prescribed level of service. Administrative and management support functions should be appropriate for the size and complexity of the fire service. Often smaller volunteer fire departments rely on community government support in these areas. Fire departments should not operate without these key elements in place. They provide for the safety of responders and residents and support the sustainability of the fire service.